Hi, my name is Shaw and welcome to Level Up Guitar Lessons. Now in this video I'm going to show you 4 different chords with 2 different positions for each chord, and that's going to enable you to move away from playing basic open chords and explore the rest of the neck. So if you've learned your basic open chords like your G major, C major, D major, A major, E major, E minor, A minor, all those open basic chord shapes, then you might be looking for the next step. How do you branch out and start to venture up the guitar neck and start to play with new patterns and shapes to expand your sound a little bit? So what I'm going to show you is just using 4 chords. We're going to use E minor, we're going to use A minor, G major, and C major. For each of those chords, I want you to learn 2 different positions. So when I say 2 different positions, I mean the root note of the chord. For example, E minor, the root note of E minor is the note E. Whatever the chord is called, that is the root note. So for each chord, I want you to learn 2 positions with the root note on the 6th string and the 5th string. So take E minor for example, we have our open chord here. We have our open E on the 6th string. So this position is the root note on the 6th string. What I want you to do is learn the E minor chord with the root position on the 5th string. So that's the next string. So let's find E on the next string. We can find E by playing the open string. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and here we've got E on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So we want a minor chord, so we're going to have to create some sort of shape to play a minor chord. So we can take this A minor shape and we're going to move it up as if our index finger was the nut of the guitar here. We're going to move this up so that our index finger is on the 7th fret of the 5th string. So normally, the correct way, I guess, to play this chord is a bar chord. So this index finger would be pressing down all of these strings in order for you to play not only this note, but the note on the top, on the 1st string. And then you're keeping this minor chord shape. So this E minor and this E minor. So this is what I want you to do with all of these chords. We've got a low position minor chord with the root on the 6th string, and then we've got a high position minor chord with the root on the 5th string. Now let's take A minor. A minor is down here with the root on the 5th string. So this is the opposite. This is a low position minor chord with the root on the 5th string. So let's find the note A on the 6th string. So if we play the open 6th string, we have E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and we have A on the 5th fret of the 6th string. So if we take our E minor chord and put our index finger as if the nut is our bar finger, and we go up to the 5th fret, so our index finger is on the 5th fret, then we have our A minor chord. So we have a low position minor chord with the root on the 5th string, and now we have a higher position minor chord with our root on the 6th string. Now if this is too difficult for you to get all the fingers down, that's okay. You can just play this kind of power chord, just these 3 notes here, and get as much as you can. If this is painful for your hands, don't worry, just keep at it over time. The muscles in your hand will get better at doing this awkward position. Same goes for this minor chord up here. You don't have to bar all of these straight away. You can just kind of lift this and only play these 4 notes, just this root note, and just mute that in a string. Still going to sound great, still going to be a minor chord. And then work towards getting that whole bar down with that finger. Okay, so that's our minor chords out of the way. So we have 4 positions for minor chords. On the 6th string we have an open minor and a bar chord minor. And then on the 5th string we have an open minor and a bar chord minor chord. So this is great. This allows us to kind of come away from just playing open chords to exploring the neck, which is going to help us identify patterns on the guitar for soloing, figuring out melodies, and a whole list of other things. So let's do the same thing with our major chords. First we're going to look at G major. So this G major chord, the root note of this G chord is on the 6th string. So what I want you to do is play this as a major bar chord. If we take our open E major and put our finger as if it were the nut and move it up so that our index is now on the 3rd fret where that G is, then we have our G major bar chord with the root on the 6th string. And again, if you can't hold down all of these strings just yet, then just hover them up. Just make sure you're playing that root note and these next 3 notes. You're still playing the chord G, and then you can work towards just getting that bar down and getting those higher notes in there too. So we've got our root note G on the 6th string, and now we want to find it on the 5th string. So if the 7th fret on the 5th string was E, then if we keep climbing up we go F, F sharp, and G all the way up here on the 10th fret. So on the 10th fret we want to make the shape for an A major chord. So an open A major chord with the root on the 5th string. We're going to put our finger across the nut as if it's barring and then move that up. We're going to keep moving it up to the 10th fret. So now we have this index on the root note G up here on the 10th fret, and then if you don't want to bar all the way, you're just going to play these 4 notes. Don't worry about this high E string. So we've got a low down major chord and we've got a high up major chord on the 6th and 5th string. We're going to do this one more time with our last chord, C major. Here's our open C major chord. Let's make the bar chord form of this C major chord. This ring finger is on the note C. This is our root note on the 5th string. So we're going to replace that with our index finger. And we're going to make that same major chord shape. Now if you can bar all the way, that's great. But again, if you're just trying this out for the first time and it's difficult for you to get that whole bar down, just play this root note and try getting the rest of these 3 fingers to fit on the 5th fret of the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings. And then you can work towards getting your index finger to go all the way and catch that high note too. But if this is new to you, again, just stick with those 4 middle strings. This C chord is using the root note C on the 5th string. So again, the last thing we need to do is figure out where that C note is on the 6th string. So if G was on the 3rd fret here, then G sharp and A was on the 5th fret, then we go up again, A sharp, B, and we're up to C. There's no sharp or flat in between B and C. And then we're going to make that same chord shape that we made for the G major. And again, if you can't bar all the way, then just lift those fingers and make sure you're playing that root note. And just play the 4 thickest strings. Okay, now that you've learned 2 different major and minor chords and 2 different positions on the guitar, the guitar is starting to open up. So how is this going to free you up? Well, if you can play E minor, G, A minor, C, but now you can play it with these other positions like this: E minor, G, A minor, C, or E minor, G, A minor, C. There's so many different possibilities and they all sound slightly different. So if you can play these different chords in different positions comfortably, this gives you more note choices and opens up the fretboard so that you can explore different patterns. This C, if we just take the thinnest 3 strings here and we take this open C chord, just our index finger here on the first fret, and then we take this C chord here, and then we take this C chord here and we just play these 3 notes that I've just played are all the same notes. It's what we call inversions because you invert the 3 notes on its head. Here we have the 3 notes here are G, C and E. Here the notes are C, E and G. So it's been flipped. Now the G isn't on the bottom, it's on the top. And then here we have E, G and then C. So now the G is in the middle. So if someone's playing a C chord, you can mix and match and choose to play these other positions instead. So this is just one little idea that you could use to explore the neck a little bit more. Now if you like this video and you want to see more content like this, then go ahead and subscribe and like the video. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Shaw and this is Level Up Guitar Lessons.